and welcome to the Tax Talk. On this show, we focus on helping you understand the issues pertaining to tax administration. The aim is to keep taxpayers and residents of Lagos State informed and up to date. I am Ayodele Subair. Here's our lineup for the day.
This business news. In a significant development, Mr. Ayodele, the chairman of the recently inaugurated Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, has stepped down from his position at PricewaterhouseCoopers after an illustrious 20-year tenure. Ayodele cited his decision to resign from PwC as a strategic move to dedicate his undivided attention and focus on his new role as the chair of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee. This newly established committee by President Bola Tinubu in July is saddled with the primary objective of enhancing revenue collection efficiency, ensuring transparent reporting, and fostering the effective utilization of tax revenues. Preparation for the commencement of VAT Direct initiative by the Market Traders Association of Nigeria, MATAN, on behalf of the federal government has reached an advanced stage. In the last 1 month, officials of Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, MATAN, and Booker Fraser met with some stakeholders to fine-tune the collection of VAT Direct initiative from traders nationwide. The Federal Inland Revenue Service has extended deadline for the filing of 2023 companies' income tax returns from the 30th of June to 31st August 2023. The FIRS, in a public notice signed by its Executive Chairman Mohammed Nami, stated that it had received numerous calls from companies requesting for the extension of time to submit their income tax returns as they were unable to meet up with the deadline due on 30th June 2023. The agency noted that the relevant companies' income tax returns will not attract late filing penalties or interest if payments were made on or before 31st August 2023. And that's it on Business News.
Could you share with us your journey so far?
So one of the first things we did was to look at the market. We looked at the applications that we have in place in terms of the software. And for the informal sector, we set up the Ayodele Hub application.
How have you managed to maintain a high level of revenue generation with the issues of tax evasion and avoidance?
In any system in the world, you're going to have issues of tax evasion and tax avoidance. So part of what we have done is to leverage on technology, is to minimize the level of contact so that people are given the opportunity to file their taxes themselves, a self-assessment. And then we try to bring as many people into the tax net as possible. We have also constantly been involved in advocacy. We're also indirectly involved through the Joint Tax Board in creating the right legislative environment to guide all what we're doing. So that way we're able to appeal to taxpayers. We're also able to apply a lot of monitoring tactics and also to bring in some element of enforcement to ensure that the compliance levels increase. In terms of the defaulters or tax evaders, of course, we have a system whereby we take them to the law, to the courts. One of the things we have also tried to do is to make sure that we don't rely too much on judgmental assessments. We want it to be fact and evidence-based. That way, we're able to clear the court processes much easily. And generally, it's all about monitoring at all levels, because we cannot increase the tax rates anyway. The tax rates are legislated by the National Assembly. So what we can influence is the number of residents of Lagos that we are bringing into the tax net, as opposed to playing with the rates. So we're doing a lot. I also mentioned that we had an intelligence unit. The intelligence unit has been set up and is, fairly well equipped, and all they are doing is browsing and browsing. One other thing we're doing is collaborating with other ministries, departments and agencies. And at the end of the day, there is so much data within the state. It's just a matter of integrating and harnessing, all this data. So we are collaborating not just with Lagos State ministries, also at the federal level, because with this collaboration, we're able to tighten the noose and, bring more people into the tax net.
Taking a look at the sectors of the business environment that are a source of revenue loss, how have you been able to mitigate those losses?
Okay, thank you for that question. Well, there are various, we suffer a lot of losses across all the different sectors of the economy, Lagos economy. There are a lot of low-income earners who, beat the system, and there are also a lot of high-income earners who beat the system. But like you said, we need to mitigate and try and see how we can block that hole. One would be tempted to say that the informal sector has more of the sort of tax defaulters that you're describing. But really and truly, like I said, and using the Pareto analysis, you don't want to spend 500,000, chasing 50,000 naira of taxes when you can spend 50,000 and generate billions. So there's a bit of concentration, in certain sectors of the economy, which is what you can call low-hanging fruits. But we are also not blindsided by the fact that we need to make everybody put in their contribution towards the growth and development of the economy. So for the very low-income workers or segment of the economy, we have the different things we have devised for them. If you recollect earlier on in the interview, I did say that we did some market segmentation, and market segmentation means that knowing the needs of different segments of your market. So we have the Bile Hub strategy, which is aimed at the informal sector. And this centers around a software that we have developed. And for the first time, we're allowing instrumental payments of taxes. It wasn't there in the taxation space many years ago. So we are working with a few private companies, and Ibile covers the 5 divisions of Lagos State. So we grouped, we segmented Lagos State, and we have people that we partner with. And these are technology firms who have a lot of, who work largely with equipment. So we go into the markets. We have meetings with all the yaolojas and babalojas. We have meetings with all the associations, the heads of the unions, just to try and see how we can, have a congregation of taxpayers, meet their needs, explain things to them, all the advocacy is in place. And through that, it's been quite successful. We're able to drive collection in the informal sector. Likewise, we also have the high net worth individual unit in LIRS who deal mainly with high net worth individuals. So we have, a mixed bag of approach and policies to try and block, the gap. And like I said, we're also doing a lot of collaboration with a lot of ministries, departments, and agencies. And at the end of the day, there's a provision in the law, Section 85, that deals really with taxpayers or residents of a state who engage in government services. So hitherto a lot of the residents could access, government services, but going forward, we're going to need for them to provide tax clearance certificates for them to access or do any business with government. So that way we expect that the multiplier effect will start to cover the whole of Lagos. If you go to any government establishment and they require a tax clearance certificate, it means that you must have registered and you must have been complying with all the tax laws. So eventually, we hope to have a very, very high percentage of coverage. So these are some of the things that we're doing to try and minimize tax defaulters.
We have discussed on a lot of areas regarding the Lagos tax reforms, and I'm sure you have a lot more to talk about. But now we need to go on a quick break. We're going on a short break now. We'll be right back.
Hello, Mom.
Hello, Jenny. Where are you?
I'm on my way home, Mom.
What is it, baby? You're sounding so unhappy.
That's because I'm unhappy. I just got my offer letter. It's a role on a TV series.
Aren't you supposed to be happy about that?
Mom, I was happy until I got my offer letter. I'll be working 3 days a week for a year. The salary is $200,000 a month. But they're going to be deducting tax.
Welcome to the working world.
Yeah, but Mom, why are they deducting anything at all?
Think of it this way. You will be performing your civic duty. Hospitals and healthcare facilities, clean and safe roads, economic development, salaries of government workers. That will be your tax at work.
Welcome back. I still have here with me the Executive Chairman of the LIRS, Mr. Ayodele Subair. And we're still discussing on the Lagos State tax reforms, challenges, and the journey so far. Thanks for still staying with us, sir. Collaboration and coordination between tax authorities is imperative for efficient tax administration. Can you give us an overview on the MOU signed between the FIRS and the LIRS?
Yeah, so you're very correct in terms of collaboration. Ahead of talking about FIRS, the JTB encourages all the sister IRSs nationwide to get involved in a lot of collaboration. That way we are able to, to ensure that there's total compliance in a uniform manner across the whole nation. So likewise, we have gone into an agreement with the Federal Inland Revenue Service. We have an MOU signed between the two organizations to drive collaboration and cooperation amongst both agencies. So at the end of the day, right in the center are two elements. One is exchange of information, and the other one has to do with joint audit exercises. So in the area of exchange of information, we are going to try and synergize. FIRS traditionally or legislatively are supposed to take charge of the tax affairs of corporations, while LIRS is in charge of the taxation affairs of individuals, enterprises, business names, etc. So at times, there's a possibility of a taxpayer hiding, in between the two types of entities. They will be individuals, but expending a lot through the corporations. So that way, they expect that FIRS will not be involved in those affairs. And they know that they're outside the reach of LIRS because we cannot view the records and accounts of corporations. So with this collaboration with FIRS, they will be able to, have that oversight on the individuals, which are largely the promoters, the directors within the corporations, to ensure that all the expenditure within the corporation are, expected to be on behalf of the company, as opposed to making them on behalf of the individuals. So when they pick up such information, they would keep it and pass such information over to us. Likewise, if there are any corporations who are operating in Lagos that are also outside their net, we're going to be able to pass such information to them, especially covering the area of VAT, which, it's quite difficult for FRS as a federal institution to cover every part of every state. So being that, we are set up in Lagos, we will be able to provide certain information to them that will help. So aside from exchanging information, we also hope to set up joint audit teams, so that both of us will go out to the premises of a taxpayer and we're able to look at all the types of transactions that they are going through, be it for the corporation or for the promoters, so that way we're going to be able to minimize tax evasion.
As a leader, you emphasize on the importance of a motivated workforce for productivity. What steps are you taking to ensure that your employees are motivated and supported?
Okay, thank you for that question. It's very important to keep your workforce highly motivated, and it's a major leadership quality when you show a bit of empathy towards members of the organization, because if they are not highly motivated, their level of performance might drop a little bit. So we have various schemes that we have put in place to ensure that we're keeping all members of staff highly motivated. So in the first place, one of the things I did early in my tenure was to advocate for increase in the emoluments of staff. It took us a few years, but Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who has been a major plus to this organization, has been able to approve increases in emoluments of staff. Right from his first year in office, he approved that we increase materially the remuneration packages of all members of staff. So, but it's not always about the cash for all members of staff. There are still other things that keep them motivated. So one of the other things that we have introduced is the health insurance scheme. We take care of the medical for members of staff. And we all know that could be a large chunk of anybody's salary. So we show a lot of interest in their welfare and their, how do I put it, their medical status and fitness, if I can use those words. Also, we have a lot of training programs that go on. So this is all part of raising their level of awareness. This is all part of raising their level of intellect so they can match it with good productivity. So aside from these, we also have performance incentives. At the end of the year, we review all the work that has been done, by the units, by the directorates, by the agency as a whole. And we make some payments, performance bonus, so to speak. So these are the different things that I believe that have really helped us. And I must say that LRS staff are very highly motivated and they're very high performing. It's unlikely that you come to this building at 9 o'clock or even 10 o'clock and it's all shut down. No, a lot of people tend to work depending on the amount of work before them. You know, a lot of people put in extra hours, and it's because they know that there's a lot of good motivation by both management and the state. The state cares for them. So that way we're able to achieve a reasonable level of motivation.
Well, we have come to the end of this wonderful interview with the Executive Chairman of the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. Don't go anywhere. The Tax Talk continues. Lagos State is changing the narrative with its recent project that is being paid for with taxpayers' money. Let's find out in Tax Did It.
It's a very, very positive development from Lagos State government, because the generation that is now on, the incoming generation, they have actually, in a way, detached from our heritage.
And it's not just a museum with pictures and artifacts. It's actually an engaging museum. You can read, you can interact. There are things that will engage with you. I mean, one needs to really come here and spend a lot of time. Bring your children here because it's important. The next generation don't know what happened 20, 30, 40, or even 100 years ago. You get these snapshots of time through history.
In recognition of his outstanding leadership and his contribution to the development of an efficient tax system, the Executive Chairman of the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Ayodele Subair, was recently honored in Lagos. Let's take a look.
Very happy to receive this award. It's just a recognition of all the hard work we are doing at LIRS. LIRS is definitely based on technology, and anybody who wants to make any headway in tax administration really has to embrace technology. So I'm quite pleased that we have been recognized as a foremost body in that direction.
By testing their knowledge on the subject matter of tax, our man is on the street with a very simple question.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Tax Your Brain on the Tax Talk. My name is Omar Folari. I'll be going on the street of Lagos to ask people trivia questions. Stick around and let's see what lucky winners will be.
Baba Ayodele Subair.
Oh my God. God, I just know him as Sanwo-Olu.
I think the full name of Governor of Lagos State is Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu.
I think it's Babatunde Sanwo-Olu or something.
Soyaolu, not Sanwo-Olu. Soyaolu. Sanwo-Olu. Baba Debo-Olu.
It's unfortunately Sanwo-Olu. I don't know, I forgot it.
Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Olushola Sanwo-Olu.
His Excellency,
Babajide Olushola Sowolu.
And it's a wrap on Tax Your Brain today. Thank you for sticking with us. The Tax Talk continues.
You've been watching the Tax Talk, and I'm sure you've learned more than a little bit from staying with us throughout the show. Feel free to follow us on all our social media platforms on screen right now. Join us next week, same time, same station, where we bring you more on tax administration. My name is Oyinlola Sale. Bye for now.